All right, so thanks for tuning in, guys. Today's speech is going to be about the Colorado Avalanche. This is just going to be a little bit of an informative speech about their beginnings, their story, their success, and kind of where they came from. And I'm a big fan of them, so I've got a lot of passion for this topic. So I just kind of want to set the stage. Imagine, some of you have been to Avalanche games, some of you may not have been, but imagine you're walking into an arena and, people are yelling, drinks are flowing, and the goal horn's blasting. That is more than common at Ball Arena, especially this time of year with the playoffs coming up. The Avalanche are just a huge, huge sport in Denver. They didn't originally start in Denver. They were originally the Quebec Nordiques, and they were founded by the World Hockey Association, which then the Avalanche actually weren't an NHL team until 1979. So they didn't get relocated to Denver for quite some time after that. The Nordiques struggled record-wise and financially. And that is in turn why the Avalanche became a thing. They found that Denver would be a good home for the Avalanche. That is true, given all the years of success the Avalanche have had. Not only did they win their first inaugural season championship of 95 and 96, that was actually the first time that had ever been done in the history of NHL. And they continued to dominate in the late 1990s to early 2000s, and eventually the year some of us were born ended up clinching their second Stanley Cup in 2001. So like I said, they continued to be dominant throughout those late 1990s to early 2000s, and we're just a really fun team to watch. I'm sure I wasn't around to watch them, but from what I've seen on YouTube videos, the battles with the Red Wings, famous players like Ray Bourque, Joe Sakic, Patrick Waugh, they'd just be a really fun team to watch. So. Unfortunately, that success doesn't last forever. As it works in the sports world, teams go through rebuilding periods. The early, kind of late 2000s to later, 2015, 2016, the Avs went through a lot of rebuilding structure. They spent years developing young talent, such as Nathan MacKinnon, who's now arguably the best NHL player in the world. Some of those guys weren't fully developed yet. We were yet to draft Cale Makar, who is now arguably the best defenseman in the NHL of all time. A lot of those guys just hadn't fully developed and fully got around to their full superstar talent. Eventually here we are with the full teams, everybody developed. And in 21 to 22, the Avalanche ended up winning their third Stanley Cup. I was there for that. I got to go to a couple of games throughout the playoffs and a Stanley Cup final game myself. And the atmosphere was unbelievable. It's unlike any game I've ever been to. The Avalanche, they're outstanding. They have a lot to offer as a sports team. Not only have they kind of cemented themselves as one of Denver's premier teams, just with them being at the top typically, they have a very, very loyal fan base. And not only that, but the hockey community really appreciates the Avalanche in general because they provide a lot to them. I know as a child myself, I played, I believe, probably a couple hockey games during intermissions at Avalanche games. So that in and itself is, a lifelong memory that I have not forgotten, that the Avalanche have provided me. I know I got to score on a goaltender, Patrick Buda. I've played with some sons of Avalanche players. Like, it's, they really do show themselves in the hockey community more than just the top tier NHL Colorado Avalanche. You see them all the way down at the junior and peewee levels where 8, 9, and 10-year-olds are out there skating around. So they really cement their impact on young children and young communities as well. As I said, here we are in, the year 2025. I think this is the 24-25 season is what we're considered right now. The Avalanche are making a break for it this year. They are definitely going for the Stanley Cup. They've made some tremendous trades over the last couple weeks through the trade deadline is coming up. We did end up trading one of our superstar players, Mikko Rantanen, away to one of our rival teams. But in return, we got some pretty good players that are fitting really well with our roster and our team right now. We just picked up a new guy called Brock Nelson. I believe he came from the Islanders. And yeah, everybody is just fitting really well with this Avalanche team this year. Our captain, Gabe Landeskog, as I mentioned, helped us carried us to that 2022 championship. He's been out for a couple of years, and he's about to potentially come back for this playoff run. So if the Avalanche could pull it together, here at the end, give it one good push, I really do think they could win themselves a 4th Stanley Cup and bring that home to Denver. And hopefully for all of us, I know all of us are located here in Colorado to watch, because I believe all of us on this call are Avalanche fans. So that'll wrap up everything, guys. I hope you got some information about the Avalanche, hopefully some new things, some things that you didn't know, and I appreciate you tuning into my speech.